Matthew 15. Then Pharisees and experts in the law came from Jerusalem to Jesus and said, "Why do your disciples disobey the traditions of the elders? For they don't wash their hands when they eat." He answered them, "And why do you disobey the commandment of God because of your tradition? For God said, 'Honor your father and mother,' and whoever insults his father or mother must be put to death. But you say, if someone tells his father or mother, 'Whatever help you would have received from me is given to God,' he does not need to honor his father. You have nullified the word of God on account of your traditions. Hypocrites! Isaiah prophesied correctly about you when he said, 'This people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, and they worship me in vain, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men.'" Then he called the crowd to him and said, "Listen and understand. What defiles a person is not what goes into the mouth. It is what comes out of the mouth that defiles a person." Then the disciples came to him and said, "Do you know that when the Pharisees heard this saying, they were offended?" And he replied, "Every plant that my heavenly Father did not plant will be uprooted. Leave them. They are blind guides. If someone who is blind leads another who is blind, both will fall into a pit." But Peter said to him, "Explain this parable to us." Jesus said, "Even after all this time, are you so foolish? Don't you understand that whatever goes into the mouth enters the stomach and passes out into the sewer? But the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart and are the things that defile a person. For out of the heart comes evil ideas, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are the things that defile a person. It is not eating with unwashed hands that defiles a person." After going out from there, Jesus went to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that area came and cried out, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is horribly demon-possessed." But he did not answer her a word. Then his disciples came and begged him, "Send her away, because she keeps on crying out after us." So he answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and bowed down before him and said, "Lord, help me. Is it not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs?" He said, "Yes, Lord," she replied. Wait a minute. Yeah. He said, oh, sorry. Yeah, there was a question there. So they end one, sorry. "Is it not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs?" He said. See, I don't like when they put it at the end after the previous one. I got mixed up there. "Yes, Lord," she replied. "But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, your faith is great. Let what you want be done for you." And her daughter was healed from that hour. When he left there, Jesus went along the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up a mountain where he sat down. Then large crowds came to him, bringing with them the lame, blind, cripple, mute, and many others. They laid them at his feet, and he healed them. As a result, the crowd was amazed when they saw the mute speak, the cripple healed, the lame walk, and the blind seeing, and they praised the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples and said, "I have compassion on the crowd because they have already been here with me 3 days, and they have nothing to eat. I don't want to send them away hungry, since they may faint on the way." The disciples said to him, "Where can we get enough bread in this desolate place to satisfy so great a crowd?" Jesus said to them, "How many loaves do you have?" They replied, 7, and a few small fish. After instructing the crowd to sit down on the ground, he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and after giving thanks, he broke them and began giving it to the disciples, who then gave it to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full. Not counting children and women, there were 4,000 men who ate. After sending away the crowd, he got into a boat and went to the region of Magadan. It's quite a cool name, Magadan. Let's go look that up before we go into it, because we'll have ads rolling in, and I won't be able to snooze them. So let's go Matthew 15. Magadan. That just sounds like a cool name, isn't it? Magadan. You're looking for a metal name for your band name? This could be it. Let's see what it means.
Strong's G,
Magdala. That's how it looks like it.
Magadan. Thayer's Lexicon, second entry. Magdala.
That often puzzles me. Like, here is the transliteration, which means here's how you write it in English. But then here's the pronunciation. It's like, then why don't you spell it this way in English if that's the way you want me to pronounce it? Anyway, a tower. That's not a bad name. Magadan. Okay. Oh, going back to the beginning. Let me get caught up on chat, and when we get back, then we'll jump into the passage. Okay. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. Last stream 9 years ago. Dude, is your stream together or collab still valid? Totally love to play chess with you sometime. DM me, man. DM me. I don't currently have it up, but yeah, like, we want to do that? We'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. That'd be fun. Passing cake. Ooh, a banana cream pie. That sounds delicious. Carrot cake. Earl Grey cake. Carrot cake, then banana cream. Still fired. Confetti cake. Magadan. I did not think of the MAGA as Trumpy, but now that you say it, now my brain does. My brain was going to Megadeth. So, yeah, sounds like a Pokemon, Uncle Teddy. Hey, Uncle Teddy, welcome in. I don't think God is a genie, but I do get the idea a lot that he has a quota on giving. Like, he already blessed or helped me so much in a given time frame that I shouldn't be asking for anything else because he reached the limit for me. Silly thinking, but probably common amongst silly humans. Yeah. Probably, Rhizone. Already asked God. He can't possibly give me any more. I think on some level it's the same we sometimes have with our parents or our kids have with us. I asked them for a lot. I'll just, think through when I was young. And I needed help with rent. I asked for help. And then next month, I asked for help again. And then next month, I was I feel like I can't keep asking. But I know if I keep asking, my parents will keep helping. And now, my kids keep asking, and I keep giving, and I know they feel bad, and I know they don't want to ask. And, I even at times go, well, do you need help? And they don't want to accept help. So, I get that. Joel, you were back to reading the Bible. You were born Catholic, but Dad moved to Protestant till you were 16, then back to Catholic, so you were lost. I get that. And I do have a lot of Catholic friends, and I'm not one of those that thinks that Catholics are not Christians. They practice differently. I still think everyone should read the Bible. Whether you are reading all of the stuff that is apocrypha, pseudepigrapha that other groups of Christians have, there's still value in it. I'll say that. There's still value in it. So whatever Bible you will read, for the most part, I think is the Bible you should read. There's a few I would say don't read. They're bad. But anyway. You posted your big comment at the wrong time. Oh, no worries. No worries. I'll get to it. Like Catholic, we don't have Sunday school church in your area, so you were different than Protestant church you went to. Ah. So still you struggle a bit by trying to join Bible study classes and YouTube and understand. Yep. And I listen to, if you go to my Discord, I have a lot of podcasts that I listen to. They're talking to Bible, but you need a good foundation before getting into some of those. Reposting the other day. Did I miss that, Lucis? You read the Bible chapter of the Gen Z Bible, your middle daughter, and she asked me if Flat Cap had written it. Hey, Jones, welcome in, buddy. Okay. Onesimus, medium age 20 years ago for a home. Oh, yeah. Buyer in your state was 39. It's 59 today. Let that sink in. Yes. Morning is going good. Okay. Let's get back into now explaining Matthew 15. So we now have Jesus being confronted by Pharisees and experts in the law from Jerusalem. Okay, it's not that there aren't Pharisees in this region. Okay, it's the same way on some level if you have, and I'm just picking on states here, if you have Democrats from Florida, they are not the same as Democrats from New York. And if you have Republicans from Texas, they're not the same as Republicans from California. Okay? There's difference within them. There's difference of what they do and how they do it. So the same way that you have Pharisees in the region of the Galilee, they're not exactly the same as the Pharisees who are in Jerusalem. The Pharisees in Jerusalem are going to have some connection to the temple and some power and prestige in the area. And they're going to be part of the Sanhedrin. They don't want to lose power within there. So don't always think when it says Pharisees, they're all the same group. So anyway, these ones particularly come from Jerusalem to Jesus, and they accuse Jesus' disciples of not following the traditions of the elders, which is washing their hands before they eat. So before you would enter into stuff, you need to be ritually clean. They have extended this to an extreme that they have to wash their hands before they eat to be ritually clean. This is not about sanitation. This is not about hygiene. That's not what they're arguing here. They're arguing about they created their own system so their hands could get washed, so that they could be pure, so that anything going into them would not end up being defiled in some way. Trigger Boss! Hey, man, welcome in. Zack Attack, Samarella! Welcome in, everybody. Glad to have you here. All kinds of old friends showing up I haven't seen in a while. So they come with an accusation against him. And Jesus is ready for this. Why do you disobey the commands of God because of your traditions? This is one that scares me at times. What is it that I am holding on to that got passed on to me? And he gives them a really specific one. You honor your father and mother. Whoever insults their father and mother must be put to death. So you tell your father and mother who are in need, and this is adults. So the honor your father and mother is not for children. We have taught it, at least in a lot of places, that this is a command for children. No. This is adults. This is adults to honor your father and mother. You are to care for them. You are to provide for them. And your father and mother are in need. And you get out of it by saying, oh, no, I can't give you that basket of grain. That grain is my offering to God, so I can't possibly give you any of that grain. I have to give it to God. So you get out of honoring your father and mother and helping them in their time of need by saying you've devoted it to God. They are very specifically going to obedience of the law instead of loving your neighbor as yourself, even more loving your parents. So that's what they are doing here and getting out of. And he comes right against them, and he quotes from Isaiah and says, he even talked about you people, you're teaching as doctrine the commands of men. So you're not going to get me to go into and do that. Okay, let me see. Samarella, your doctors reach out to you and let you know that you're cleared for a heart transplant. Yay! And you're getting a new heart. and can have the surgery by second week of March. So yeah, by end of November of this year, you'll be completely free of cancer. And for real this time, I can for sure say you're going to be cancer-free soon. Samarella, that is such good news. Let's get some hype and emotes in the chat for Samarella. Some definite praise. Definite praise there for Samarella. And we'll be praying that everything goes forward. So second week of March, I will be headed to Orlando for Exponential Conference. Or maybe that's the beginning of the third week. Depends on how you count it. Joel, sir, I got to go. I have to make dinner. I hope to join another stream. Thank you, Joel, and enjoy dinner. Rise on some translations, add or remove certain words, which can misrepresent and mislead people. The bigger thing isn't the adding and removing words. They may be working from different copies of the New Testament. So we'll have a copy of the New Testament that is from Egypt. We'll have one that's from Turkey. We'll have one that's from Rome. And so that's a lot what's going on here. I use this version, the Net Bible right here, and it will give you footnotes when those changes happen and why they make different decisions on there. And sometimes they're going for idea instead of word for word. So there's a lot of different ways that can happen. But I understand the concern there. You don't want it to be misrepresented. They're all trying to not misrepresent it, but they all are making decisions to represent it a certain way. Onesimus, John 13, King James Version, 12, after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said to them, know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me Master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his master. Verily, verily, I say to you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. Yep, absolutely. And there we go. There's the emotes in the chat. Sam, I'm so happy you can't, I guess. I can't even sleep thinking about it. You feel so blessed. I'm so happy for you, Samarella. That is simply amazing news for sure. Okay, let's get back to the text. So, then Jesus tells them what does defile them. Oh, does that not tie into what we're reading? The servant not greater than their master. Oh, it'll get to it maybe if you're talking about the Gentile there, but also the disciples not being greater than their master either. But the Pharisees' concern is of defilement. That the disciples are defiling themselves by not washing their hands. The very process of their eating causes defilement. And Jesus says, no, the heart is what defiles a person. Your attitude and rightness towards others is what causes the problem. So out of the mouth comes defilement. Then the disciples said to him, you know you offended them when they heard they were offended. Like, yes, I do. I offended them. I intentionally offended them. They should have been offended. He replied, every plant that my heavenly Father did not plant will be uprooted. Like, they weren't planted by my heavenly Father. They're going to be uprooted. Remember, we have the story of the seed that falls and the harvest and all of that. So they were not planted. They will be uprooted. If we're going to go with the tares, that might be what we're talking about here in reference, not the different seeds, but the enemy came and sowed it, and they will both fall into So if a blind person leads a blind person, they both fall into pit. Like, don't follow after them. They are blind. They don't know where they're going. They don't understand. They're just following the traditions. Okay? Then Peter's like, well, explain this to us. We're missing it. Like, you made it even more confusing to us. I love when they do that. I love when they play. Like, I don't get it. Explain it to me. Okay. Even after all this, are you so foolish? Don't you understand? So, like, how can you not get this? Whatever goes into a stomach, passes through a person, goes into the sewer. Talking biology there, okay? It goes in, it goes out. It can't defile you, okay? but the things that come out of the mouth from the heart, they defile a person. For out of the heart comes evil ideas, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, and slander. 7 of them, ladies and gentlemen, 7. This is a list that represents the complete things that could come out of a person. This is not trying to be exhaustive. It's using the number 7 to represent 7 as totality. Everything that comes out of a person that is harmful, that can be a thing that is defiling. Now, it could also be evil ideas is a summation, and then it's 6 things that follow. Either way, we have 7. And I don't think they're in any particular order. At times, we could say, oh, we want to point to the one in the middle as the biggest problematic, sometimes the first, sometimes the end. I don't know that we have that here. I don't see any clues that would point us to that because he doesn't talk about them further. I think it's 7 there. For these things defile a person, it is not eating the unwashed hand that defiles a person. Like, they're just straight up wrong. They're straight up wrong. They need to think about what's in their heart. So now that we have the lesson of what comes out of the mouth isn't what defiles a person, what comes out of the mouth, not what goes into it. We have what comes out of the heart is where defilement happens. So we're going to now have an example of that. That's how this is often laid out. We have a teaching, and then we get to live it out in real life. So we're going to have the possibility for the disciples to see what Jesus has, and to go back to Onesimus, the disciples are not greater than their master. They don't get their master half the time here. So after going from there, he goes to the region of Tyre and Sidon. Why does he go to the region of Tyre and Sidon? If not to bring to them the message that he is bringing, a Gentile region, okay? And a Canaanite woman came from there. Why are they mentioning Canaanite? He could have guessed any other one. We're supposed to think the people who were originally of the land who never followed God. That's part of what we're supposed to be thinking here. She is from an ancient line of people who has always been the enemies of God. I think that's what we're supposed to be thinking. A Canaanite woman? Oh, no. She could not possibly have anything to do with Jesus. Like, this is not the kind of person that we want to be around. She cries out, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is horribly demon-possessed." She identifies him as the Son of David. Okay? Now, this could just be in some ways saying you're from Jewish people, you're from that group of people, but that would not have been a traditional way to necessarily say it. Rhizon, I don't know which translation or who pointed it out, but I think in John 7:8, where Jesus is saying he's not going to the feast yet. One translation leaves out the word yet, so it makes it look like Jesus lied. He wasn't going at all, but later he did. You did, but not 7. Okay. Well, and that has to do with Greek tense and how you're going to translate things. And so the word yet is not a separate word there. It's a word that's implied from it, but we're not there. And I don't think it makes it look like he lied, but that's a separate point. Because he's not going with them. Okay, back to our immediate text. So she's crying out, "Have mercy on me," but he did not answer a word. Jesus is ignoring her. Why is Jesus ignoring her? He wants to see how his disciples will respond. Okay? Jesus is not engaging her. There are people around. Remember perhaps, and I don't remember if the story happened before or after, but remember perhaps the story of the 2 men who were crying out to Jesus, who were blind, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." And the crowd turns against those 2 men and tells them to be quiet. And he says, "No, don't make them be quiet," and bring them here. So perhaps there is a parallel story here of, someone is crying out for me. Will this person be brought to me, or will this person be kept from me? Let me just go look a minute here if I can find it. Where is the 2 blind men healed? Matthew 20, another account. Matthew 9 describes a separate healing of 2 blind men in the house of Galilee. Okay. So we do have Matthew, and Matthew loves to have 2 in the case. So yes, 2 blind men, and as Jesus passed by, two blind men were crying out, "Lord, have mercy on us." So yes, we already had a story in Matthew 9, thought it was, Matthew 9 of 2 men crying out, "Son of David," and the crowd said, "Hush up, leave him alone." Now we have a Gentile region and a woman crying out, "Lord, have mercy on me, Son of David," the same cry. Our brains are supposed to go back to that. We're supposed to go, how is this going to play out? Is this person going to be kept from coming to Jesus? Because that's what happened the first time. But he did not answer. His disciples came and begged him, "Send her away because she keeps on crying out after us." So instead of the crowd trying to send her away, now the disciples step in to send her away. So the disciples may be thinking about, she's unclean. Jesus just told them about what comes out of a person is what makes them clean, not what goes into a person. So this woman is not unclean. That's what we're supposed to get from this story. Jesus is leading us into that. Matthew is leading us into it. So he answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So this is the expectation that his disciples wanted him to say. There are plenty of people who think that Jesus is not saying this in a harsh tone, trying to get her to go away, and instead inviting her into conversation. Like, hey, refute the things I'm saying. I know your faith. Come at me. I'm waiting for you to change the decision of the people around me. You're my example. Come at me. We're having an engagement here. Let me tell you the thing that everybody's thinking. I am the Messiah. I'm only for Israel. You're not a part of that. But she came and bowed down before him. "Lord, help me." So she restates where she's at, the request. "Is it not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs?" So he is, again, I think, inviting her into engagement here because he asks a question. He doesn't say, "No, go away." He says, "Is it not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs?" "Yes, Lord," she replied. Okay, so we don't take the children's bread and throw it away. But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. So dogs, and she being a Gentile, would be the person being referred to this. So this is not Jesus' attitude towards women. I've heard people talk about that. That's not what's going on here. This is a teaching on what makes a person clean or unclean, and the Gentiles are not unclean. Okay, they may put unclean things into their body, which you would think, or the Pharisees would, make them unclean. It doesn't. What comes out of the heart? Look at what's coming out of her heart. What's coming out of her heart is love and compassion for her child and recognition of who Jesus is. "Woman, your faith is great." That is his answer. "Let what you want be done," and her daughter was healed. From that hour, we have this kind of thinking and phrasing often, there's an immediacy of the healing that took place. That person doesn't even have to be present. You can go and verify it when you get home and ask how long did this take, and it's immediately when you're having the conversation with Jesus. I love the things Jesus did to make a point. Yeah, and we need to see those, that Jesus does a teaching and then he is living it out for people to see it. This is what rabbis would do. You would take an example that is right there to emphasize what's going on. So many people misunderstand his intent or purpose in saying or doing certain things. Yeah, and you have to go slower. If you just read things to be on the surface, you're going to miss what he does. When he left there, Jesus went along the Sea of Galilee. Then he went up to a mountain and he sat down, large crowd. So now we have him going to do a very similar thing. He goes out to a lonely place. He goes up to a mountain. A large crowd is there. They are bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others. What are the many others? I don't know. Maybe they're demon-possessed. Maybe they just classify so many different things. They lay him at his feet. He heals them. The crowds are amazed. The mute speak. The crippled are healed. The lame walk. the crippled healthy, and the blind see, and they praise the God of Israel. So more healing is taking place. Then Jesus called the disciples and said, I have compassion on the crowd because they have already been with me 3 days. He has been here for 3 days. What were they eating during those 3 days? We don't know. But at this point, whatever they brought, they've run out. And since they're hungry, they may faint along the way. He prevents them from saying, go away, by saying they won't make it. I know where your heart is. I know what's going to come out of your mouth. Okay. Where can we get enough bread in this desolate place to satisfy the crowd? They again don't have faith. They demonstrate again their lack of faith. They didn't have faith to feed the crowd before. Jesus already showed them he could. They should at this time immediately come and say, oh, Jesus, well, we already counted, and we have seven. Now, we were in the region of Tyre and Sidon. Okay, Gentile region. So we have 7. Why do we have 7? Because the Gentiles are not going to have the Torah. They're not going to know 5 loaves. They're not going to have the 2 tablets. They're going to have totality and completeness. So 7 is the number of totality and completeness. So it is 7 that happen here. So the Gentiles are receiving a full measure of blessing from the 7 fish, and afterwards there are 7 baskets that are empty. Again, a total number of adequate beyond what they could have eaten. There are leftovers. Again, Jesus breaks them. The disciples distribute them. Everyone is satisfied. This time it's 4,000. 4 is not one of those numbers I'm really good at remembering if there's meaning to it. So I apologize if you're looking for me to add that. And then they get in the boat and they go somewhere else. So we have this constant Jesus moving, constant gathering of people, constantly Jesus having compassion on people. What is coming out of Jesus is compassion and love. What is the response of the crowd? What is the response of the Pharisees and sometimes his own disciples is not love. That's what comes out of the heart. All right. Hope that makes sense. We'll be back